You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? Oh no. Fuck this creepy cabin in the woods. Weirdos with strange masks and murder fetishes. Not just no, but hell no. But Amber and Scott discuss it anyway after watching The Strangers Chapter 1. Oh, there's a fair deal of cursing. And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
If you find yourself in the unique position,
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
what would you do?
What would you do?
How do you want to handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
Yeah, so I can tell you already in advance that we're going to do something special with this episode we've not done before. I'll be listing it as having profanity in it. I can just tell you that. Let's just go ahead and explicit content's going to be on for this episode.
Okay, so this episode we are talking about The Strangers Chapter 1. After their car breaks down in an eerie small town, a young couple is forced to spend the night in a remote cabin. Panic ensues as they are terrorized by three masked strangers who strike with no mercy and seemingly no motive in The Strangers Chapter 1, the first chilling entry of this upcoming horror film series. Now, this is actually the third in this series. The first one was The Strangers, then The Strangers Prey at Night, and there's been long lulls between it, and this is the latest entry, which is The Strangers Chapter 1.
Yeah, I've not seen any of the other ones, nor am I going to.
I've seen them all, so I was excited about this film.
Yeah, I was not at all. I was my general thought towards it was fuck that. But, you know, we have a show that we're doing.
Take one for the team.
What would you do?
And this is a good what would you do?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I remember thinking a couple times, what the fuck are they thinking?
Well, you know, I didn't feel like the characters made as many stupid decisions as a lot of characters in horror movies do.
Hi, let's get out of the house into the shed, which is, you know, more constrained.
But the bad guys were in the house. They were trying to get away from the bad guys.
So I think we have to. It's weird because they made it seem like there was almost paranormal, like they'd be there looking, but when you go to turn, they're gone.
Oh, I didn't see that. They were just always lurking in the shadows. That's not paranormal. That's
yeah,
just
exactly. So I'm running on a non-paranormal, actual real world basis on this one.
Just lurking and scary.
So here's the thing. You're in an Airbnb. These people are going to terrorize you. You have to assume that they know their surroundings better than you.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about in the woods, you have to think that it's likely locals who know the terrain and you're fumbling around in the night in the dark trying to figure out where the trees and the holes are, and they know.
Yes. Though, before that, there was a period where she was at the house by herself before...
the main female character.
Yeah, before he came back.
Right.
Let's start with what would you not do? What I would not do in that situation, once I've heard a few things and I'm already a little on edge thinking, what the hell's going on here? I'm not going to get naked.
And take a shower.
I mean, it doesn't matter what you're doing once you're naked. Like, you're already, like, on edge. No. Girls walking around without pants on, I'm putting pants on. I'm putting shoes on. I'm putting fucking everything on. Because if I got to go, I got to go. My hair, it can wait.
Well, I think at that point, like, she's unsettled by some freaky teenager, what they think is some freaky teenager that just kind of being weird, saying the famous word from The Strangers is a Tamara home. And so she's unsettled and she's heard some noises and she's heard some sounds and some banging. So she's definitely unsettled, but she doesn't think she's going to die. She doesn't think someone's going to break into the house and terrorize her. So she's trying to unwind, take a shower.
But she's already at this point has messaged him and said, hey, can you please get back as soon as possible? She's clearly...
she's on edge.
Yes. When I'm on edge, I'm not getting naked.
I would agree.
I'm just not. My hair can wait. All that shit can wait.
Like, I'd close the curtains. The curtains were kind of sheer see-through, so I don't know if there was other curtains to close. So let's get to the premise here. What would you do? So you're out in the middle of nowhere in a cabin. Let's just, for the sake of argument, say that you are the girl character who's at home by herself while he's out getting his inhaler and some food, and things start happening, and you're You're nervous.
Okay, for sure, if I'm her, as soon as there's like any sniff that there could be anything wrong, I'm looking for two things. I'm looking for a sharp weapon, and I'm looking for a heavy, dull weapon, i.e., give me a knife and give me a baseball bat or something similar. I want to be able to swing something at someone to be able to disarm them if I need to, and I need some way of being able to fucking stab someone if possible. I don't know if I would necessarily go to the lengths at this point of like looking for something like a firearm.
So let's at the risk of not being appropriate for our times, let's look at this as gender roles, because I just said think about if you're the girl by yourself, and the way that you're acting, I think you're thinking like a guy, and I don't know if a girl would say, let me try and find a bat so I can swing and hit somebody, because just as a whole, women have less upper body strength. So why don't we kind of do some gender roles here, and I will.
If I'm a guy, I'm only getting the blunt object.
Okay.
I'm not worrying about the sharp one.
So let's jump ahead then. So you're the guy, you come back, she's your girlfriend is hiding in a room, scared out of her mind, saying she saw someone's in the house, electricity's went out, and she said there was someone with a mask in the house. And unfortunately, the guy says, I'm sure you just imagined it. Hey, look, there's a picture. You probably saw the picture. Now it's okay. That's all it was. You just basically got confused, you silly girl.
So real life, playing in real life, you apply Occam's razor. And if you all don't know what Occam's razor is, just Google it. It's OCCU. Occam's razor, what's the most likely thing? The most likely thing is that she just saw something. I mean, it really is. Like, you truly do. It's far more likely in a real world scenario, not in the Strangers movie, but it's far more likely that she saw something than something was actually there, especially when he can point out, like, hey, maybe this is what you saw, etc. Okay, that's not to say you're completely disregarding her.
You're so speaking like a guy.
Well, no, you're not completely. Well, no, I mean, if the gender roles were reversed, I would expect the same. I mean, like she's been smoking pot, and
yes, that actually is relevant. And he was like,
very strong pot, apparently.
Yeah, that actually is maybe relevant. So maybe I guess you might be doubting yourself a little bit more. I wasn't so thrilled when he basically was like, oh, maybe you're confused. I don't think you really saw anything.
But I don't think that. I honestly don't think that's because she's a girl. I think that's because she was in the dark and she was smoking pot.
Oh, I wasn't saying it's because she's a girl. I was more like because he's a guy.
Yeah, I don't always subscribe to that theory, even though guys are assholes.
So, and per usual, warning, there are spoilers here. So if you want to be surprised, be forewarned.
You're already pretty fucked at this point.
Yeah, we're going to ruin things for you. So you're the guy, and now you've realized this is real. Like, oh my gosh, there's someone out to get us.
Wait, where are we in this? Like, they've actually seen someone?
Let's say the blood dripping from the ceiling.
Okay, yeah. So that's the telltale sign. Like, we're not imagining the rooster or the chicken hanging from the ceiling.
I was trying not to spoil it.
Bleeding. Yeah. No, we're spoiling. That's what
I know.
It's who I am as a person.
Spoilage.
A lot of spoilage. Yeah. So now I'm definitely looking for a blunt object, and I'm looking for a sharp object. I'm looking for multiple sharp objects because I want both of us armed with one. Not necessarily a blunt object for her, because you're right, upper body strength. Like, if one person's swinging, it should be me, but you can stab. Now, I understand that when you start to arm yourself with something sharp, it can be used against you. But if I start with it in my hands, I like my odds a little better. So
by grabbing weapons, you're leading me to believe that you would stick around and try and fight for survival.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Okay.
But at that point, you don't know what's going on.
Right.
It's clear they do, and you don't.
Okay, so you at least want a weapon regardless of where you go. And they tried to escape, and we're not successful in that. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay, well, let's just... My what would you do makes for a very bad movie.
Why? What would you do?
When I left the house, I'm not going back in. I'm not. I am going to...
Do you mean after the explosion? There was an explosion, folks.
Yeah, even after the explosion.
Well, he was standing... The creepy guy with the hatchet was standing there. What are you going to do? Just hang out with him?
Well, okay.
You go back in the house. You get away from the crazy guy with the hatchet.
Well, I would have gone around the house. I would have gone into the woods, like behind the house. Like, I would have gone. But here's the thing. Like, don't trap yourself in a physical location. where there's a good chance that they know better than you.
But they also know the woods better than you.
Well, yes, but the woods is an unbounded area. Like, you can go in all directions. You're not going to get yourself truly trapped.
Well, think about it though. The main male character here, and his name escapes me at the moment, and a victim prior to that, both got injured running in the woods, which ultimately led to their downfall.
Yes.
So I
don't get hurt.
Yes, but you're running in the pitch black woods that you don't know where. Heck, there's holes in the yard outside that sometimes I twist my ankle out. It's my own backyard in the daylight. So
I'm not saying this is an optimal situation. We're not picking between good options.
Okay. So if it was you,
as soon as we see homie with a hatchet after he blew up the motorcycle, we know we're not dealing with good options here.
Okay. So if it were you, you're taking your chances and you're running in the woods, staying out and exposed in the woods.
Yeah, and I'm doing the best I can to get my ass to a road, and I want to be on that road.
Well, let me tell you, as someone who has watched many, many horror movies in your life, and the person who's running from evil and they get to a road and they flag down help, almost always the help that gets flagged down is also in on the scam and brings them back or knocks them out. Flagging down help is the horror movie equivalent to asking the murderer if they can help, because it's always connected.
Yes, if this is a movie, it is. But since I'm playing the "What Would You Do in Real Life" game, since this is indeed cinema IRL.
Well, doesn't film imitate art, or
not that closely?
Okay? I got that phrase wrong.
Yeah.
So obviously you had this couple. They were there for their 5-year anniversary, and they're trying to get out alive. They are trying to keep their sanity and their wits about them as they fight for their lives. I guess if it was me, well, first of all, I've seen a lot of horror movies, so I know not to flag down help. But if it were me, so at one point they tried to get out of the house and they went under and down in the foundation underneath the house because it had a raised foundation. If it were me, I would probably go against your don't stay in a confined space, even though it's a confined space. I would probably stay down there and try and hide down there because there was no evidence that they had actually gone down there. Now, while they were down there, I kept thinking, okay, the hatchet man's going to start hatching at the floor and come through that. But it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, but again, you have to you have to assume that they know it better than you. Like, if you found the crawl space, you have to assume that maybe they know about it.
Yeah.
For some reason. It's not a bad, like, you figure out a plan B, but I do agree, hiding down there. But the problem is it's kind of a to what end scenario.
It's one of those things, too, where if I was going to hide there, I would never know when it was safe to come out, because I wouldn't think just because it's daylight, it's safe to come out.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like that other movie that we saw that when it becomes daylight, it's safe, and when it's night, it's not safe.
Do you mean Abigail?
No. We didn't cover it here. Remember the one with the boys and the dystopian society and the character?
Oh, yeah. Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Sorry. I have to remember this is on a video podcast. You don't get to see so no, you're right. And that's the problem. Your chances of getting away and being able to hide and be away is actually better at night. So I think they did the right thing by slipping out. But
Arcadian, that was the Nicolas Cage movie.
So yeah, there's definitely a few scenarios where I'm doing stuff differently.
So let's jump back into some more what will you do. So let's put ourselves in the two main characters situation. We're in the car. We've finally gotten access to a car. We're on the verge of getting out and escaping, and the bad, scary hatchet man slams into our car repeatedly until, let's say, your leg is pinned in, you can't move, and you think it's the end. And I try and get out of the truck, and you can't because your leg's pinned. So what would you do in that situation?
He did the right thing telling her to go, but what I'm doing if I'm her is I'm running as far away as I can, but one, I'm going to track to see whether or not I'm followed. This might be a long episode. I'm okay with that. Track to see if I'm being followed. If it doesn't look like I'm being followed because they're tied up with him, I'm getting about as far away as I can, but can still see what's going on, because she needs to know whether or not he's going to be able to get out of the situation. Like, the presumption is that he's not.
Right.
But I think they're still stronger together than they are separate. So if he does get out she needs a way of being able to reconnect. If she goes too far, they can't reconnect.
Well, and he was wandering through the woods yelling her name, Maya. That's what it was. Maya, Maya. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's killers out there. Don't be yelling
Now,
for Maya.
I actually disagree with you on that
Oh, really?
one. And here's why. Homie had a shotgun.
Oh, that's
They
true.
had a knife and an axe. He has a shotgun. Sure. Call for her. Either she hears you and you reunite, or they hear you, they come after you and not her, and then hopefully you blow their fucking brains out.
Yeah, and unfortunately that didn't happen. And having watched all the movies in this series, I can tell you from the first one, it was the first movie of its type, kind of on this premise of just psychos killing just for the fun of it, torturing and prolonging the torture and fear. And when the initial movie came out, and this was a long, long time ago, I remember thinking, I am never going out somewhere remote. And I love nature, I love quiet, I love wilderness. And I thought, I will never go out somewhere by myself again. And then I thought, you know what? Actually, I don't even think I would go in a group, because groups get taken down all the time.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm still running the movie back in my head.
There's not safety in numbers. So
So when the dude found the one masked chick and put the gun to her head,
the dude and the chick, yes, when the main character, what was his name?
I don't know. When
yes.
the main guy found one of the masked chicks and put the gun to her head,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna go.
Luke.
I'm not going off on
Oh no.
on some speech. I'm blowing her fucking brains out. That's it.
Oh well, he
You're
wasn't going
you're
on a
done.
stage. He was asking where Maya was.
But she's not gonna know.
Well, he
Maya-
doesn't know. He doesn't know what she knows.
But he knows he saw Maya run off. So like the presumption here is,
Okay, so his name is Ryan and her name is Maya.
oh yeah. The presumption here is that she's hiding and she's gone somewhere. She's not gonna know, and I don't care. Honestly, I've seen 3 masks. I know there's at least 3. And it looks like there's only 3.
Yeah, there's always only 3.
I'm blowing her fucking brains out. I mean, immediately.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing about horror movies is some people have to make some dumb decisions because
Yes.
that makes the movie go on. But yeah, if it were me, what would you do scenario? If I had gone through the night that they had gone through, and I actually had a gun facing one of the scary folks that was trying to hurt us, yeah, I wouldn't be asking questions. I might say, where's Scott? Where's Ryan? Where's Maya? Whatever. But when I realized I wasn't going to get an answer, I would blow them out because she started acting all freaky, and then he lost control.
And the first words out of my mouth are "drop the fucking knife." And as soon as she raises it up, as soon as she raises that thing more than 6 inches, I blow her fucking brains out.
Yeah, I thought she was going to reach back and stab him, but she did drop the knife. But unfortunately, he still wound up on the losing end of that encounter.
Yeah.
And
Oh, now the only reason I might not blow her brains out is if he really didn't have plenty of ammo. He said he had plenty of ammo, because
he said that to Maya, so we believe that to be true.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'd shoot first, ask questions later.
I don't want to be sexist, but let me tell you, I'm more concerned about Baghead than I am either of the chicks.
Yeah, well, no, the scary guy with the hatchet.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
I need ammunition to be able to shoot him. So the only reason I might not shoot her is if I wouldn't have ammunition left. And if that's the case, I'm grabbing the barrel of the gun and I'm swinging it like a baseball bat to the back of her head. And
Yeah.
I'm at the very least going to knock her out.
Yeah, no, the guy, the big scary guy walking around with the hatchet, slamming cars into things and setting
Clearly
motorcycles on fire. Is
I mean, they're
definitely
all
someone to be feared.
threats, but he's clearly the biggest threat.
Yeah.
Physically, I mean,
So what would you do? No, first and foremost, what would you do is I will never go out to a cabin in the woods. I just won't. And that makes me sad because I actually would enjoy that. But I've just seen too many horror movies, and this movie has always stuck with me. I see a lot of stuff, but the one that always makes me the most uncomfortable is the Strangers franchise because it's just random sickos. It's not like road rage or someone did someone wrong. It's just sickos who just get off on killing.
yeah, a little Clockwork Orange-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm good with the fact that you don't want to do the cabin in the woods because it would probably have shitty Wi-Fi signal, and I want to avoid that. So,
Alrighty, well, I guess that's the takeaway then is what would you do? Is like stay places that have good Wi-Fi.
yeah, basically, 3 stars and up, hotel, please.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.